Subaru Men's Giant Slalom. Hello, everybody. I'm Pete Liebengood, along with Hank Kashawa, and we are just moments away from the start of this, the final GS of the World Cup season, and the story going in is Ingemar Stenmark.
Indeed it is. Tuesday was his 30th birthday. He celebrated it in style with his 4th win of the season after a 20-month victory drought.
So quite a story it was. Another scenario to his legend, a legend that now finds him leading the standings once more as he tries to go for an 8th Giant Slalom title. Incredible as it may seem. However, Hubert Strolz of Austria right behind him, only 2 points, so we've got a race going on. Joel Gaspoz of Switzerland also with a shot at it. The overall standings, Hank, it's been locked up, and again, the name Mark Giardelli is at the top despite some strange circumstances.
Well, he locked it up Tuesday, Pete, in the Giant Slalom. He didn't do it, though. He fell the first run, and Pierman Zurbriggen of Switzerland had his chance to overtake Giardelli had he won the last 3 events and Giardelli go down in all 3 of them. He didn't do it, so Giardelli's locked up 2nd in a row, strangely enough with only 1 win this season. All
right, we've talked about the headliners. What about the Americans? Tiger Shaw again leads Subaru Men's Giant Slalom. Joel Gaspoz out of the gate. He is 3rd in the standings. He has to go for it here today in the first run to catch Ingemar Stenmark for the season.
The course today, Pete, has a lot of very difficult terrain, and it changes. It's very steep at the top. You get a middle flat and then a couple steep rolls and then back into the finish area. But the gates on the course, as you can see, are cranking back and forth across the hill. Very important for these racers to make good round turns and stay on that downhill ski.
Hank, there's a pretty good wind blowing. How is that? Or can you tell what kind of effect it's already had on Gaspoz?
I'll tell you, a key to that, Pete, is to watch the flags, how much they're blowing back and forth in the wind. So far, it looks like it's not having too much effect on Joel Gaspoz.
This 23-year-old Swiss has really blossomed this year, has he not?
He has. You know, as I said, he had 4 years without too much result, and this year he's come on strong with 5 top 15 finishes in Giant Slalom and 1 in Slalom. And he's having a pretty good run here, Pete. Good, little mistake there, but he let his skis keep running down the hill. It didn't affect his speed very much.
Gaspoz can pick up 14 points today, and that's what he's shooting at right now as he moves toward the lower 3rd of the course.
He can overtake Ingemar Stenmark for the Giant Slalom lead, but what he needs there is to pick up the 14 points and for Stenmark not to finish as he approaches the end of the course right now.
Joel Gaspoz to the line, and Gaspoz with a time of 1:21.32. There is our standard. We'll see how the rest shoot at it. Here is Mark Giardelli. He owned the Giant Slalom last year as well as the Slalom, but difficulties this year.
What can you say about Mark Giardelli? He's one of the strongest racers on the tour. Came back from a debilitating knee injury several years ago, only to win the World Cup last year. He did that by hard training, some tricky surgery by Dr. Richard Stedman, and Mark Giardelli on the course right now, a course that would favor him because of his strength and his ability to carry the speed from the steeps and onto the flat.
Tuesday on this white-faced mountain, he did not finish. He missed a gate and was disqualified in the first run.
And he's not having the smoothest of runs right here, Pete. You saw him catch a tail up there a little bit. It looks like he's not skiing with the confidence he did last year when he scored 11 wins in Giant Slalom and Slalom.
Ironically, he has had a better year in downhill this year than any of the other 2 disciplines.
Well, what happened to Mark was he didn't ski very well early in the season in the technical events, and he went into a slump. There wasn't very good snow in Europe. There he is with his, how was his halfway time there?
Yeah, almost more than a second behind the first skier, Joel Gaspoz.
Yeah, he wasn't skiing very smooth. Earlier in the season, he didn't have a chance to come back. He trained a lot of downhill because there was snow for that, not for the technical events. Consequently, scoring better results, and he's coming up against the finish here.
Joel Gaspoz, the time to beat as Giardelli heads for the finish line, and currently in 2nd place amongst the 2 skiers, and almost 2 seconds difference for Giardelli, between Giardelli and Gaspoz, as we look at Robert Erlacher of Italy.
Now here's what you call a tired Italian, but he's not skiing like it right now. He's anxious for the season to get over, but he's really being aggressive on this run. The Italians coming up with a body of good racers. They haven't had a star like Gustavo Terni in quite a few years, but they've scored 2 victories this year. Robert Erlacher, good in Giant Slalom, 4 top 15 finishes. Seems to be skiing well right now.
He is currently tied for 4th with Mark Giardelli in the Slalom standings. As you watch Erlacher now, Pete Liebengood, Hank Kashawa here in Lake Placid, the men's Giant Slalom first run. Interesting note, Erlacher, you talk about being tired. He said he's going to take 10 days as soon as he gets home and go to the beach.
Get some sand in his shorts. Okay, approaching the midway time. Robert Erlacher seems to be having a pretty good run, and does, only 1/10 out.
That time second to Joel Gaspoz, who is our leader.
So important for the racers to carry that speed off the steep onto the flat. And now you see a lot of side hill turns here. These racers will have a much more tired left leg than they would a right leg because they're turning uphill.
The time to beat on your left belongs to Joel Gaspoz, currently third in the overall standings. Here comes Erlacher to the timer, and he stops it. In second place, 1:21.35. Very close to Gaspoz, and he moves into second place, does Erlacher of Italy.
Herman Zurbriggen out onto the course, charging down. He had his chance to win the overall World Cup on Tuesday, Pete. He didn't quite do it. Mark Girardelli opened the door wide open by falling in that giant slalom, and Herman Zurbriggen could not take advantage of it.
Last year, he was second in the giant slalom to Girardelli, second overall as he is this year.
Having a terrific run right here. He's really cutting the gates close, running a very tight line. His downhill ski is not slipping very much. You don't hear much chatter from his skis. When you hear that chatter, you know that the racers are actually slowing down. Little double turn there. Now he's got to make a good turn and carry his feet onto the flat.
Zurbriggen with 3 career giant slaloms wins, his last one coming in 1984 at Aspen.
He's had a tough season this year. A couple very bad spills early in the season in downhill. First one in Val d'Isère, France. Little slow at the midway, almost 9/10 of a second out. A couple bad falls, and he wasn't really able to let his skis run. Imagine that. He got a little bit gun shy.
Zurbriggen does have a third and one downhill, a sixth and a ninth. He's picked up some points there. You sound like it's a bad year for him, but here he is, second overall to Girardelli once again.
Once you've won it once, Pete, and you've tasted victory in the overall, it's tough to settle for anything less. Look at the wind whip down here at the finish.
And Gaspoz's time, does it hold? Yes. Zurbriggen with the third fastest time, so Joel Gaspoz still our leader. Zurbriggen appearing to be not particularly happy with that run. Tired, yes. This brings us to Max Uehlen of Switzerland, 24-year-old who had his moment in the sun in the 1984 Olympics. He won a gold medal in the giant slalom, but has had tough going since then.
He sure has. And he's having a tough run right now, Pete. He didn't get off to a very good start. Looks like he's very heavy on his edges as well. Skiing on his inside ski, not getting a good platform with the downhill ski, so he's not able to push off and really accelerate. He needs to let his skis go.
We'll get a view of his halfway time here shortly, but I think Joel Gaspoz, based on this, will be safe from Max Uehlen. Uehlen currently 22nd in the GS standings, so not a particularly good year in this discipline.
Only 2 top 3 finishes since the Olympics. Halfway time puts him in 3rd place. Looked rough, must have been fast.
So Max Uehlen looking to improve here, and if he can put it together on this second half of the course, he will make an entry into the top 5.
In 1983, Pete, he lost the overall giant slalom title to Phil Mayer in the last race by 1/100th of a second. Can you believe that? Your whole season comes down to that.
Here he comes. Gaspoz the leader, and this is Uehlen finishing 4th. So Uehlen bumps Bergler out of the top 5. Pretty decent run that time. Richard Promatone of Italy.
Another one of the heart of the Italian ski team. He's a quiet racer, doesn't say much, 21 years old. He won a giant slalom race this year, his first race ever at Adelboden, Switzerland.
He currently is in 6th place in the giant slalom standings.
Looks like he might be having a little trouble keeping his weight on his downhill ski, Pete. You know, one thing that's really crucial in a race like this is how you have your skis tuned, how sharp they are, how dull they are. You don't want to have them too sharp or they'll grab too much. If you have them too dull, obviously you can't hang on. Very crucial thing in the starting gate for these racers to pay attention to, for their ski technicians that take care of their equipment, to make sure that these racers have the right tuning on their edges.
Absolute science as we look at Promatone, who has the 3rd fastest intermediate time. So a good run going for Richard Promatone.
He is a good giant slalom skier. 4 top 15 finishes this year. Again, a win, first one ever for him as he approaches the top base at the finish here.
As we watch Promatone, all eyes will be quickly looking toward the top of the hill where Ingemar Stenmark is next in line as Promatone brings it to the line. 121.3 is the listed top time, and a third best time goes for Richard Promatone. Fine run, so he drops behind Gaspoz and Earlocker.
The man of the hour, Pete, out of the starting gate. Now you will see a smooth run.
83 World Cup victories, Ingemar Stenmark.
He loves this hill. He won 2 gold medals on this very hill in 1980, the slalom and the giant slalom. Ingemar Stenmark loves to win ski races. He had a 20-month victory drought, came back strong this year with 4 victories, and he is skiing well right now. One thing you got to watch with Ingemar Stenmark is how positive he is with his line. He never has a double turn as he goes from gate to gate. He knows right where he is all the time. Very easy on his edges, quiet, carries good speed from the steeps onto the flat, rides a flat ski from gate to gate. Important right now, there's a little roll right there. To carry good speed, set up now, you have a little bit more steep. Slingshot off the steep and carry that momentum onto the flat. Look at the wind, whip that gate around there, Pete.
4th best intermediate time as we look at Ingemar Stenmark, who won on Tuesday by 4 100ths of a second over Hubert Strolz. Right now it is Joel Gaspoz in the lead, followed by Earlocker, Promatone, Zurbriggen, and Ulen.
Stenmark coming onto the last face. Keep in mind there are 2 runs here. Ingemar Stenmark has come from way back in the pack on many occasions to win a race.
Here he comes, all eyes on Ingemar Stenmark. The 30-year-old from Sweden is in 4th place after the first run. Marcus Bossmeyer of West Germany, 22-year-old. He's a good one.
He's a bright young prospect, Pete. He is one of the 3 racers on the tour right now to score points in all 4 events. The other 2, of course, being Girardelli and Zurbriggen. But Bossmeyer, at 22, this year has won 2 Super Gs. He's thrown up the overall Super G title for the season, and he's a comer. He's young, strong, aggressive. He's having a good run right here, too.
We saw him begin to blossom way back in August, the first event of the season in Las Leñas, where he took a 3rd and a 6th in the downhill. Boy, it has been a long season, hasn't it?
Boy, it sure has. Started in August for us.
Approaching the intermediate time, again, our first skier out of the box, Joel Gaspoz, still the leader. And there's the best time. It is recorded, the intermediate time, by Marcus Bossmeyer. Here he comes.
Carrying good speed. Approaching the top face at the finish. See if he can carry that time all the way in.
We're in the first run of the men's giant slalom at Lake Placid. The time to beat belongs to Joel Gaspoz.
Oh, he almost split and run right down in his chin.
Bossmeyer, a slower second half, puts him in 7th place. So he has to be a little bit disappointed after a good start. We're going to find out right now if the course is slowing down, because this is Hubert Strolz of Austria, who finished only 4 100ths of a second behind Ingemar Stenmark here Tuesday, and is in 2nd place in the overall giant slalom standing.
Mr. Consistency. He's had 3 second places and 3 third places in giant slalom. He's not scored a win. A lot of the racers say he tries a little bit too hard, and he's really being aggressive right now. You know, you can really tell, Pete. Watch how his arms are out in front of him and how he plants his pole, and looks like he's grabbing the air for more speed. Sometimes that can work against you if you try too hard. You don't let your skis run like you should out of the turn. Grabs his tuck right there.
We're going to get a speed check in about 10 seconds here.
Good timing down here on the flat, perhaps a little stiff up above, but now's where he needs to really concentrate and carry that speed.
2nd best at the halfway mark, so the second half of the run will be interesting for Hubert Strolz, looking for his first victory of the season.
It's paying off. A couple wide turns right there might cost him as he comes onto the top face, Pete.
He's got to figure, finishing only 4 100ths of a second to Stenmark, that this might be his time.
A little bit more ragged down here.
The final stretch, did he lose precious seconds, half seconds? Yes.
Just a couple. Got ragged, and he knows it.
Hubert Strolz, disappointed. Gunther Matter One of the young Austrians.
10 seconds. Number 19.
Good story with the Austrians this season, Pete. They got a new coaching staff, head coach and a slalom and giant slalom coach. A lot of these young racers, specifically Günther Mader, credits him with creating an atmosphere within which the young Austrian racers could blossom and seek their potential. At age 21, he's done that. He started the season racing out of number 60 position and has placed in the top 10 7 times already, including a win at Yalo in Sweden in the slalom.
Hank, I see, as we looked at Mader in the start gate, the precipitation has picked up here. Now, I'm wondering how much significance that has with respect to the times that were established early that are holding now.
Well, I'll tell you what, a light rain won't have too much effect on the snow, the speed of the snow. What it will have an effect on is the visibility. I've been there plenty of times. The racers that wear contact lenses may have an advantage because you can't see with your goggles. If it's raining, you can't see without your goggles. If you wear contacts and you take your goggles off, you might have a better chance, as Günther Mader places 9th over halfway, racing from his position. That's not too bad right now. If he can pick it up on the bottom, be fast on the flats, he could have a good shot at second run combined time.
Günther Mader, the last leg here, trying to better the time of Joel Gaspoz, our leader.
Pick it up at the finish.
Good run, pushing him into 7th place. Good effort by Günther Mader. Giant slalom win of this season. Teammate Jorgen Sundqvist here.
Sundqvist making his way down towards the finish line.
And he zips through. Pretty good run, considering how far back he is, climbing into 10th place. So the other Swede has a fine run. Currently 30th in the giant slalom standings, American Tiger Shaw.
Tiger Shaw, we've said how he's a pilot, just got his instrument rating. If the fog keeps coming in, he's going to need that right now to navigate his way down this giant slalom course. Tiger had a good run on Tuesday in the second run of that giant slalom. He hopes to carry that momentum to today.
He was very confident.
And he's 12th place. Pete,
Good effort.
That's a good effort. He could pick up some points here. Tiger's had 5 top 15 finishes, scoring points in the World Cup this year. It's been a while since an American male has done that.
We're watching Tiger Shaw, first run of the Subaru men's giant slalom.
Tiger's mother looking on, a lot of friends and family close by, came over to watch. Tiger's having a pretty decent run here, Pete.
Here it is, and check the time. 12th place, not bad for Tiger Shaw.
Tiger's got to be happy with that one.
Alberto Tomba of Italy, on course.
Alberto, again, leaning in. A little bit rough up there.
Still looking for World Cup points.
Another strong young Italian. Approaching the midway. Seems to be carrying pretty good speed. 17th place. Again, anything under 20 for these guys gives them a shot at a better starting position in the second run and a chance to pick up some World Cup points. Crack that top 15. All important to getting better seedings for next year. That's what they're thinking about right now.
Time on the left belongs to Joel Gaspoz. He was the first man to come down the hill here, and he has the lead.
Oh, almost caught a tip on the last gate. Comes in 10th. Really picked it up at the bottom.
Good run. Erlacher second, Promatone third. That concludes the first. Our Stenmark come back. The drama is set for the second run. Can Stenmark come back and claim his 8th giant slalom championship? Operate Gaspoz, Erlacher, and Promatone for the start of the second run of the Subaru men's giant slalom. And the drama begins to build now as we look at Pierman Zurbriggen coming out of the starting gate.
And he charges out of that gate, Pete. Again, one of the only 3 racers on the World Cup right now that scored points in all 4 events. Hasn't had a great year this year because he took some terrible tumbles early in downhill skiing. One at Val d'Isère put him out for a couple weeks. Hasn't been able to let his skis run, but he's letting them run right now on the steep part of this giant slalom at Lake Placid.
And the drama I alluded to, Hank, is because any one of 3 men, Stenmark, Strolz, and Gaspoz, have a shot at the overall giant slalom championship.
It all comes down to this, the last giant slalom of the season. Pierman Zurbriggen having a fairly decent run here, running a good tight line. First run we saw that the earlier numbers had an advantage for the racers. Karaman Zurbriggen, can he capitalize on it right now in the first racer of the second run?
He'll be a good barometer because it looks like he has had a pretty decent run here. So as he crosses the line, keep in mind his time. Zurbriggen, 5th fastest in the first run, moving after it now.
This course looks to be a little bit faster than the first run. Pete, he almost loses it right there. Lost a downhill ski. It didn't cost him much time, but it took him some effort to get back on his skis.
A good job by Zurbriggen of reclaiming his skis. And the time, 1:14.5. That is the second run time only. That will be our standard anyway, with Ingemar Stenmark on the course, going for his 8th Giant Slalom title.
I think what's even more incredible is that it would be his 84th victory should he score that today. Can you imagine winning 83 races in World Cup competition? He's been in that starting gate before.
Second run of the men's GS at Lake Placid. Here's a scenario for you. If Gaspoz should win it, he must come in 3rd. If Stroltz should win it, he must come in 2nd to claim that title.
And Stenmark, in his usual smooth, fluid style, has the best halfway time so far, Pete, and he continues to carry good speed and momentum into the finish line.
He definitely is a closer. Ingemar Stenmark, been in pressure situations.
He's come from behind before in big races.
Watch the numbers. They are all important, not only now, but in the next few skiers. Stenmark riveted on the scoreboard for his time. And here is Richard Promoton of Italy, trying to spoil everybody's day.
Then he catches an arm and goes down and spins him right around, loses his tails, and he's out of the course.
So our first victim of the second run is the young Italian skier.
That did not feel too good, Pete. Looks like he might have bumped his nose a little bit, too.
He is checking for survival first, then he'll worry about what happened to him on this day.
10 seconds.
Robert Erlacher, you can begin to see the rain at the top of the hill near the gate.
Hold your nose and dive on in, folks. It's raining in Lake Placid. Robert Erlacher says he's tired after a long season. Doesn't look like he's tired right now. Still able to reach deep down inside for something. More energy, more inner strength.
So far, Stenmark has the best time. Zurbriggen in 2nd.
And Erlacher carrying it off the steep onto the flat. Very fluid skier. Very fluid skier. Good long limbs. Able to generate speed on the flat by extending, striding out.
Well, if he's tired, he doesn't look it to me, Hank.
Sure can't tell by me either, Pete, but again, those dark goggles, his eyes might be closed.
No way. Not with those flags coming at you every other second.
And approaching the midway time. Looks like a good one. 48.
So Erlacher, a better intermediate time than Stenmark. We're searching for barometers here, and that is one.
A good shot at his first World Cup victory. A little hard on his edge right there. It almost put him down, but he's going to be okay.
Here comes the final push. Erlacher. Oh, that's a good time. 1:13.4. That's better than Stenmark. And that should, and it does, puts him in the lead ahead of Stenmark. So one has passed him. And here is Joe Gaspoz, the leader after the first round.
And this guy is flying. He loses his goggles, and his hat took him right off on purpose because the visibility is so bad. Again, as we said first run, sometimes you can't see with your goggles, you can't see without them, but that is not holding him back now. He is really flying, carrying good speed, Pete.
That is amazing. With all the concentration you have to get through the gates, you can have the time and the presence to get rid of something like your hat.
Boy, but I'll tell you, when you're skiing good, nothing breaks your concentration. Look at him concentrate. You can see his line of vision. You just see a line etched in that snow, and he's carrying terrific speed here, Pete, and he's being more aggressive than the other racers.
1:13.49 is the best time in this run by Erlacher. Let's see what Gaspoz does as he comes across. 1:12.9. Oh, Stroltz of Austria, who could put a crimp in Stenmark's plans for a title if he should move into the top 3, and Gaspoz stays the leader and wins it. Stenmark is gone in terms of the giant slalom standings, reaching the top.
This is what ski racing is all about, and he has a terrific halfway time here, Pete. Hubert Strolz could be able to move into first place right now and win his first giant slalom victory ever.
He has been so consistent this year.
Oh, that cost him some time, Pete, going right onto the flat here. He got him sideways. Now how do you pick it back up?
Well, we'll see. Here it comes. The time is all important to watch. Strolz in a time of 1:12.82. That's second fastest on this run. And that will put him in fourth place. Check it, third place. So that does end it for Stenmark in terms of the overall giant slalom standings if, and that's a big if, as Gaspoz stays on top. We're looking at Gunther Matter.
On course now, Gunther Matter, perhaps the longest climb of any ski racer this season at 21 years old. Started early in the season back in the 60s. Came all the way up with 6 or 7 top 15 finishes. Finally won a slalom at Yelo in Sweden. And he's healthy now. He'll be in the first group next year if he keeps this up.
Second run, men's giant slalom in Lake Placid. Gunther Matter trying to get everything he can out of this white-faced mountain.
He's got a lot of room to mature, Pete. Gets stronger and faster all the time.
We got a nice tight look at him there as he comes in at a time of 1:14.4 for this, the second run. Looks relatively pleased by what he accomplished.
He's got to be happy all the way to the bank this year.
Max Uehlen out on the course.
3 top 15s this year.
He was the 8th fastest in the first go-round here.
Max Uehlen's been around for a while at age 24. The Swiss keep their racers around. If they show promise, they show a good competitive drive, they'll keep them around. It sounds terrible to call a 24-year-old a veteran and been around for a while, but that seems to be the case in alpine ski racing, and Ingemar Stenmark proves us all wrong by winning at age 30 on his birthday.
Joel Gaspoz continues to lead here in pursuit of a title.
You know, Max Uehlen's having a very good run here, Pete, but he's really a little bit too precise, and he seems to be not just lacking that inner drive and that spunk at the end of the turn. Puts him into 6th place.
Crosses, and his best finish to date has been a 10th, so he's got to be happy with what things say right now. Max Uehlen. Already pushing on the course is Marcus Bossmeyer, a fine all-around skier.
Fine all around, perhaps because of the tremendous leg strength that he has, Pete, at 22 years old. Again, one of only 3 racers on the tour right now that scored top points in all 4 events. Perhaps one of the reasons are the strong legs that he has. Look how powerful he is when he stands on that edge. That ski does not budge.
Until Tuesday, he was in the top 10 in the giant slalom standings. He fell out of that. Finished 9th a year ago.
Good Super G skier, another testimonial to his all-around ability between the giant slalom and the downhill. He's won 2 already this year.
Like the others, he is shooting at the time of 2:34.2 combined. It belongs to Joel Gaspoz, and he is the leader right now.
Not a bad midway time for Marcus Bossmeyer as he comes onto the flat here. Let those skis run, step off, up on the top face. Racers have been having trouble there, but he powers right through it, loses the ski on the next gate. Almost went out of the course, but recovered on his uphill ski.
Good finishing effort out of trouble for Bossmeyer. And you take a look at the standings, it is stiff. We're looking at Mark Giardelli out on the course. Frustrating year for this man.
Boy, and you can really tell that Mark is not skiing well. His timing looks rough. He doesn't look like he's able to use the tremendous strength that he has in his legs to his advantage this year. He's not as confident. He leans in and goes down, Pete. Missed that blue gate. Very difficult race for Mark Giardelli.
Oh, this mountain has not been to his liking. On Tuesday, he was disqualified, ran around a gate, and you see what happened to him here today.
Frustrating season for Mark. You can relate it all back to the early season. He went into a slump in the technical events. The terrible snow conditions in Europe made it difficult for him to train, to pull himself out of that slump early. You see him just skiing down here now, knowing that he's disqualified.
Testimony to his great skiing ability, he is still the overall champion, and that's quite an accomplishment.
Well, he's done it all in downhill this year. It's really made a big difference in his overall point standings. Not a very happy Mark Giardelli right there.
This is Tiger Shaw, the American, with a last American shot at it. And if things stay the way they are, Gaspoz on top. He would win the giant slalom standings by a point over Stenmark. Tiger Shaw finished 24th in the giant slalom on Tuesday. He is 28th overall. He finished 14th in the first run, and before the home crowd, he's trying to put one together. On Tuesday, his second run was much better than his first. Trying to crack the top 15 again. A mark of consistency, and the crowd here giving him a boost as he crosses the line. Tiger Shaw, the time of 1:15:20 to wrap it up and put this standings for the giant slalom for the overall year in perspective. Men's giant slalom at Lake Placid for the third time this season. Joel Gaspoz has recorded a victory in the giant slalom. In second place today was Robert Erlacher, Strolz in third, Stenmark fourth, and Herman Zierbriggen finishing in fifth place. The overall standings for the giant slalom on the season, this is the seventh and final one. It came down to 1 point. 1 point. And that was Gaspoz over Stenmark by that 1 point, with Strolz in third place. Stenmark was the story at the start. He did not win, but even at the finish, he was very dynamic.
Perhaps the sentimental favorite here this week at Lake Placid, Pete, winning on his 30th birthday last Tuesday, coming in fourth today, Herbert Strolz just pushing him out of the top three, which would have given him his fifth giant slalom title. But don't take anything away from Joel Gaspoz. His third giant slalom win this season. He took his hat and goggles off and battled the rain and came on through for the victory. Great race.
And what a year he has had for himself. That's going to do it for us. Good working with you. The World Cup Tour now moves on to Canada for